What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Get Real Vlogs, where being controversial is my only talent. And today I will be showing you the podcast I was recently on, the Crime Solver podcast with the host, Danny Miner. He is a TikToker and a former cop of 27 years, and he covers different cases that are going on in the world of true crime on TikTok. He has over 100,000 followers. And I was able to be on his podcast. I'm excited to show you guys. Please enjoy this. I hope you can hear me. It's a little unclear at times. But I hope you guys enjoy this.
The TikTok live in the background.
Yeah, there's like a second delay.
Okay, I think I'm good now.
Okay, so what's up? You have info on this that I don't?
So no, I've been watching you since this Idaho case has been going on. I actually texted with, I believe, your assistant a couple of months ago because I'm very interested in this. I do YouTube, not exactly the same thing. I have my own podcast, and I do like touching on true crime things. But
awesome.
You're one of the only sources that I really enjoy watching when it comes to the Idaho case. You're very truthful. I like how you're a former officer, so you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I appreciate that so much because here's the thing. I don't like to do things just for followers. And I think you know that on TikTok, some people do stuff. If I think it's something false, I take it down. Like the other day, I don't know if you saw that shooting in Texas that happened. I'm sure you did, where they just caught the guy today. It was a horrible shooting. I put that guy's picture up, and 2 of my videos went to like 200,000. But then I found out that the FBI actually put the wrong picture of the guy. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, the FBI put the wrong picture out, so I had to take both my videos down. And, I took them down, and it was actually the right picture. But that's how I am. I don't want to put any false information out there. I try to be truthful. So I'm very glad that you've seen that, because I don't like to put any false information out there at all. At all. Even if the video's doing good, man, I don't want to. So do you have any info? What do you think of the Idaho case?
I think it's crazy, man. It's been so long since this happened at first, and it took a few days for it to just kind of blow up. And it's crazy how, it's bad things happen in the world every single day. This case keeps elongating, and it's sad because it's 4 young, beautiful, teens in 20s, however old they were. It's more information just keeps coming out, and I think that there's going to be something big, as we all probably believe, that's just going to blow us away again, just like so many things have in this case.
I totally agree. What is your theory about it? I know a lot of people have theories about this. Here's my thing. I definitely think that BK 100% did it. 100%. Do you feel that way too, or do you think it's something else?
I definitely feel, who takes their trash and separates it and puts it in a neighbor's trash can? That's, pretty damning evidence. And, it's hard to say that, it's not him. There's all signs point to him. If there's someone else involved, maybe we will find out.
Right. Did that bother you? I'm going to be honest with you. It bothered me a little bit that it took so many hours to call the police. That did bother me in the beginning of this.
I agree. It's odd.
It don't make sense to me either. I'm sure we're going to find out about this case as it goes on, but I don't know how a murder like that could happen, right? An incident like that could happen and you don't hear it. It definitely bothered me. I'm not going to lie, and I don't want to, them kids are so traumatized by this. I don't want to give them any more trauma by saying they should have called the police, but I'll be honest with you, it's going to be brought up in court. It is.
Oh yeah.
That defense attorney's going to say, you took 9 hours to call the police? Why would you take 9 hours? And then if it's true, and we're all going by what's truth it is, but if they called somebody else before they called the police, the defense is going to go after that. They're going to you decided to call your family or your friends before you called the police? It's definitely going to be something brought up. You know that, I know that. It's going to, because what defense attorneys are salespeople, so they're going to try to sell stuff to that jury that these roommates are lying. They're going to try to sell that the roommates are lying. They are,
Well, I'm sure you've seen that was going around. I don't know who the call was made to. It was like that one mom that called in, and she was saying that everyone knew before the police were called. There were videos and pictures. I'm sure you saw that.
I did see that.
Have you seen that video?
Yes.
What do you think of that?
That's crazy. That's what I don't get. I mean, I know they're kids. I know, I mean, they're 20-some years old. And I think back on when I was 20-something. But you know what? To be honest with you, I was a cop at 20 years old. So I was a cop so young. But if I think about my 20s, I probably shouldn't have been a cop that young because we don't think right. You know what I mean? So I understand that they were nervous, but I just don't know how you call everybody else before you call the police. I just think that when it comes to trial, even though I don't think it's a huge deal, I think the defense is going to make it into a big deal. They're gonna, 100%.
Yeah.
You know,
As they should. As they should.
yes, and her seeing BK leaving, they're going to really hammer her. They're going to be like, are you sure it was him? Are you sure it wasn't somebody else? You're saying it was this. That poor girl's going to be a big part of this case.
Yes.
A big part.
It is.
And they're going to try to discredit her because she is going to be a big part. What do you think of them saying they're going to Reno, Nevada to interview her? What do you think of that? I believe Kaylee, right?
I think that, I think they should. I definitely think they should interview her.
Yeah.
I hope that we get to hear, I hope we get to hear what happens in the interview.
I know. See, I don't think we will because of the gag order.
I don't either.
You know what I mean? I think they'll go out there, but I think we'll know a little bit. And let me tell you why I think that. What'd you say your first name was again? I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names.
My name is Dean.
Dean, that's right, Dean. Dean, what I think is we'll know because if they go out there and it doesn't go good, they'll squash that subpoena. The defense won't subpoena her. Yeah. But if it goes good, the defense will subpoena her. And the reason they're subpoenaing her, and I was trying to tell people in my videos, is in a preliminary hearing, not all the witnesses and victims testify. I don't know if you know that. Are you familiar with the law at all, or were you a cop? Or
a little bit.
Okay.
I took a few criminal justice classes in college for fun.
Yeah, and see, preliminary hearings, there's this thing they call in preliminary hearings, it's just called prima facie. And what prima facie is, the judge has to decide if a crime was committed, and of course, a crime was committed, right? We all know that. And was Brian Kohlberger probably involved? Not guaranteed involved, not just probably. It's just a probably. And that means he's going to send it to the jury. Okay, so it's not guilt or innocence, so they only have to establish that. So what they'll do is they'll put the police officer on the stand, and he'll say he showed up there and there was 4 people unalived. So that establishes the crime, and then they'll put somebody on the stand, like maybe the lab technician with the touch DNA or something, to make BK part of the process. And that's all they're going to do. Was he probably involved? Was there a crime? And of course, that's all they need to do for a preliminary hearing. So it's not guaranteed that she'll testify. That's why they'll subpoena her. I hope you understand. I hope that wasn't confusing.
Yeah. That's a little more clear, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why. I mean, they'll only put maybe 3 or 4 people on the stand for a preliminary hearing. They just got to establish that prima facie. It's not guilt or innocence. It's basically, was he probably involved? Not without a reasonable doubt, probably. And then that means the judge says a jury should hear this. Now, a lot of people on my things are saying, should he take it before a judge or a jury? They're not going to take it before a judge. They want a jury to hear this, not a judge. A judge would be if there was some kind of like technicality in the law. You know what I mean? Then they want it before a judge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you think's going to happen? I want somebody else's opinion. You sound like you're into this true crime. What do you think? You think he's going to be convicted?
You know,
you don't know. You're right.
I sit on TikTok. I dedicated time. I try to like everything with Idaho, just so I can get every single bit of information, even if it's like the craziest theory out there, like a freaking alien. Back when we didn't know what was going on. But it's sad to say he may not because of it and things that that we may be thinking if something crazy comes up, or if definitely he has something to help out Ryan that's what's being said on TikTok. I'm hoping he will be. It looks like he will be, but there is a chance he won't.
I know. And listen, just before you get off the phone, I just want to tell you 3 things that I think they're going to bring up. And this is only what we know now, because don't forget, there's a gag order, so there's going to be more. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to think of is they're going to bring up her saying she's seen somebody else. That's why they went to Reno, so that's going to be a huge thing. The touch DNA, they sent it to the one crime lab, And then they sent it to another crime lab because the first crime lab couldn't find anything. They sent it to one that specializes in touch DNA, and then they found it. Now listen, me and you know that that could be nothing, but the defense team's going to make that into something. They're going to make that into something. You know what I mean? Why didn't the one lab find the DNA, but the other one did? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're gonna, and what they do is, and I would, there's something, Dean, called a suppression hearing, and that's before trials. They try to suppress evidence, the defense, so that you can't mention it in trial. Okay, so I believe the defense will try to suppress that DNA evidence before the trial, and they'll try to have a suppression hearing saying, well, this lab didn't find it, why should we believe this lab? And they'll have a bunch of them suppression hearings. They try to suppress evidence before the case, and what that means is, if they win that suppression hearing, that evidence cannot be brought up in trial, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow,
so
okay.
they could try to do that. I'm not saying they're going to be successful. I'm just telling you different techniques that they could do. And the only reason I know this, I've been to so many jury trials and preliminary hearings, and believe me, I lost cases, Dean, that I thought were solid. And the jury comes back and finds them not guilty. It's a toss-up. That's why 90% of the cases in America are plea bargain. Because it's a gamble for both sides. Right?
We saw it with OJ.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, think about this. It's a gamble for the defense because they'll usually, like, they'll offer them, like, just give you an example. Henry Ruggs, the raider that was just, he's going to be sentenced to 3 to 10 years for this DUI, okay? 3 to 10 years. Now, if he took a trial, he'd have probably got 10 years if he was convicted. So that's what they'll do for them. They'll give him a lower sentence, but then if they take it to trial and are found guilty, they'll give him a higher sentence. So it makes people plead guilty. I don't know if you knew that. That's how they get people to plead guilty.
Yeah. I was reading how he's only probably going to get like 3 to 5 because he's pleading guilty for it.
Yes, but if he said, you know what, I'm taking this to trial, and he was found guilty, he'd probably get 10 years. Yeah. So that's how they plea bargain everything. The thing with Brian Kohlberger, I don't see them plea bargain, is because the DP, I can't say the word or TikTok will take me off, but it's a DP case. So the end result is the worst thing that could happen to him, so he's not going to plead guilty, unless that was off the table. You know what I mean?
Do we have any word? Is he still like saying like he's not guilty of this? Do we have any word like that? Maybe he really told someone that he did this.
I did not hear anything, and usually sometimes you'll get like prison talk. You know, he'll talk to his cellmate or he'll talk to somebody in the lunch line in the prison, and they'll try to get a reduced sentence by testifying against him. But I didn't hear anything like that. As far as I know, is his defense attorney's this Ann Taylor from Idaho, and I'm going to be honest with you, people said she's very good. She's very good. And she's a public defender. And Dean, I'll be honest with you. Like when I arrest people, when I was a cop and I'd arrest people, and they would get a public defender, they'd be like, "I'm screwed. I'm getting a public pretender." That's what they would call them. Instead of public defenders, they'd call them public pretenders. But I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of good public defenders out there. There really is. And they're saying this lady is. So he got a good attorney and he didn't even have to pay for it. That's what they're saying. So it should be a good case. I know. This case is going to go. This case is going to go on for a month. Dean, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. And listen, if you want to DM me, I'll follow your YouTube channel.
Thank you, man. I definitely will. And when does this come out on YouTube?
This will be right after the show. You have it. We're live on it right now. You can. It'll be up there. You can go right up to it.
Thank you so much. Nice talking to you.
All right, brother. Nice one. Thank you.